Good evening, friends, and welcome back to another episode of the Kirby Russia live stream. And my head started itching as soon as I hit the record button. Anyways, friends, it is good to see you. We've got some big things in my life that may be interesting to you to talk about today. But because I was invited to a very major public Russian event that took place over the last 2 days, and boy, is my mouth tired. That was a lot of small talk. A lot of getting to know people. Very interesting. It was sort of the International Congress of Russophiles, as in people who love Russia, which sounds like something very minor or quaint. But some A-listers really showed up to this event, and it looks like it's going to become maybe something big, hopefully. So, anyways, before that, I just wanted to mention one thing, one bit of news from the channel that you guys may have noticed. In fact, I look small here. Let's bring the camera down just a little bit. I don't want to look small. I'm not small. Why should I look small? So anyways, one thing that I was when I released that video the other day, which was a sort of a criticism of Dan Bongino there and what he had to say. I released a poll that I left up for, I think, about 24 hours of who thought it was a good idea to keep doing that and who shouldn't. Because a lot of the sort of hot take videos that I've done over time, they express my opinion, but I don't know. They don't really seem to get particularly great views. You guys never really mention them. I think you guys seem to really like the interviews that I do. They're sort of like a nice discussion. People watch these live streams. You know, I'll look, and there's like 70 people listening, 80 people, which I think is pretty crazy. Because in the world of like people listening to a live stream, you kind of have to multiply everything by a lot. Like a channel with 100,000 subscribers might have, maybe on a good day, 1,000 people listening to their live stream at any given time. So it's almost like you multiply the numbers by 100. So that would be like a 70 or 80,000 view average video. That's a pretty good channel. So thank you guys for being here. Thanks for going nuts about these live streams. But anyways, you guys like the live streams. You guys comment to me maybe the most about the videos, but the whole hot takes thing kind of sucked. It's not working. So after I did that reaction video and I saw that everyone voted for it as a new good format, I think I'm going to do a lot more reaction videos, but that means I'm going to need videos to react to, and that's where you come in. So guys, here's the thing. If I'm going to make these reaction videos, which at least the first one you guys seem to like, I just released one about Tucker Carlson talking about how the NSA spied on him. I have some opinions on that. You might enjoy it, kind of the same sort of format. So if you guys really like that kind of video, you're going to have to send me some things to react to because I can't find everything myself. So if you guys see any cool videos or something, just throw them on over, especially my friends in the pipeline. Now's the time to look to videos to react to, especially videos that are a little bit longer, but then have a little bit more of a discussion because, you know, if a guy just falls down the stairs, you react to him falling down the stairs, and that's it. You know, there's nothing else. You kind of need something to grab onto to make an interesting reaction video. But so anyways, I'll consider that a success. The hot take videos as they were a real pain in the butt to film, took forever to edit, and yet they yielded nothing. This whole this whole reaction video format goes a lot faster. It's more comfortable. I enjoy doing it more. So yeah, I think we're going to stick with that. Anyways, that was our sort of first topic today, was about the channel. As you recall, as people are now actually showing up here, I need to enlarge the window. Remember, guys, if you comment under the little image that says, 15 minutes to live stream or 30 minutes to live stream, I'll see it eventually. But for right now, I'm kind of off that screen. But comment down there, and I'll get to them. Or later on in the program, I'll say we can put your hand up and we can talk directly. I was mentioning having 70 people watch. I must have cursed me because there are only like 12. But that's okay. 12 is a lot better than 0. So thank you for being here. All right. So anyways, what the heck was this conference? Well, I think that this is sort of a feather in my cap, yet again, sealing my fate as being a somewhat semi-important person in Russia. Because this event had, I don't know, maybe 60 attendees or 50. It's kind of hard to say. But, we're looking at people from all over the world, different sorts of delegates and business people. And then here I am, all in sort of the middle of it. And it was kind of weird. So like the first day was just sort of a meet and greet, so everyone could sort of get together. It was at the top of this hotel where all the foreign guests were staying. Of course, I didn't need a hotel room, although it would have been nice. Wasting money is fun. But so anyways, they had, snacks and all that, and it was a good time to sort of meet everyone. Maria Zakharova, everyone's favorite foreign ministry spokesperson, was there. She had a lot to say. She kind of gave a speech. I saw a lot of people I knew in that room. But anyways, the main event was sort of the second day. That's when everyone sort of gave up and gave their big speeches. So apparently this movement was founded by a Bulgarian guy who ran for president, but was too pro-Russian, and he got in a lot of trouble and kind of had to flee to Russia. His last name is Malinov, which is interesting. It kind of sounds like raspberry, like Mr. Raspberry, because raspberry is Malina, but in Russian, it would be Malinin would be the last name, not Malinov, but Bulgarian is a different language and is supposedly the grammatically weirdest of the Slavic languages because of the Ottoman occupation. They lost a lot of their cases and gained a lot of weirdness. So anyways, maybe Malinov could be linked to raspberries, but I don't know. But it's a very delicious sounding last name nonetheless. And he is the sort of exiled presidential candidate, put together this idea of this sort of international movement. Now, going to some sort of conference where people who speak Russian will put together a conference that's full of a lot of good feels. Guys, these happen a lot. Okay, since I've been in Russia, I talk about the disease of officialness a lot, and there's very much this idea in Russia that if we make some sort of official event with an official forum and everyone's in suits, this is going to accomplish everything we want in terms of our soft power citizens diplomacy mission, and it rarely, if ever, does. I would say the exception of that are probably the more business-related events. I've attended in Ufa twice because they actually really do a good job of really linking foreign businessmen with an interest in expanding into Russia, and they get all that type of people, hundreds of them, all in one room, and they are the suit and tie kind of people, and I think it works out better, but it doesn't really work as a soft power victory in the sense of citizens diplomacy or better understanding Russia. It just really allows people to make a lot of connections with other business people. It's sort of they turn out to be these sort of big networking parties for people who have way more money than I do. So, but I think that's effective, but it's effective in a different way. Now, this was different because usually when Russians want to do their overly official, highly organized events where they invite people from across the world to try to build better friendship and all that, they're not backed by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. They don't have statements from President Putin and His Holiness Patriarch Kirill to start them. They weren't by statements, I mean that other people read them. They weren't in attendance. But Sergei Lavrov was the foreign minister, so the top of the foreign ministry was there. He gave a speech. In fact, what did Lavrov mention? I made some posts on it, but I guess I can talk about that now. Well, basically, I'll say of big guests. You have Lavrov. You have Alexander Dugin, the super philosopher, one of the main headliners. And we have media mogul Konstantin Malafeyev, one of the most sanctioned people on the planet, one of the first people to be sanctioned, and a person whose name was almost always kind of kept out of the mouths of the media, kept sort of away from events like this. The special military operation starts, and all of a sudden he's allowed to appear. Interesting how that works out. He was on trend with being pro-Russian way before it was cool. So now he's getting what he deserves in the positive sense of that statement. But anyways, I just want to make some points about what did all these people say, mostly in Russian. So what did Lavrov have to say? The chief foreign minister, the man with the deep voice who has to deal with a lot of BS. He said that we're living in an artificially tense period, which I agree with. The tensions that have been created around this whole Ukrainian thing could have been easily avoided. He mentioned that the global south, if you're not familiar with that concept, essentially the global south is the entire set of countries that isn't the West. So despite Russia being very cold, it's part of the global south. And he made the point that the global south is the global majority, sort of a statement against certain globalists. He also said that Russia is not and will not invite other nations onto crusades against enemies, that this whole idea of creating these blocks and fighting for the sake of other countries, that's something in the past. Of course, that was a statement against NATO. And he got into whole strict blocks of alliances, like the West uses are dangerous. He mentioned specifically Malafeyev and Dugin as moral and spiritual leaders of Russia. Guys, I remember a time when Mr. Dugin was blacklisted and nearly lost everything. And like I said before, Mr. Malafeyev could not get any attention outside of his own media sources. And now they're the moral and spiritual leaders of Russia. Times change. Times change. And I'm changing for the better, my friends. So that was what Lavrov kind of had to say, or at least that's the things I grabbed. Remember, all these people talk for a long time. What I write down in my notes is one thing. I was listening without the translator thing in my ear because it drives me nuts. So there's the factor of Tim's hearing is not super acute, so I could have missed some important things. Who knows? Let's see. Speaking of Mr. Malafeyev, he mentioned that Russophobia comes not from Westerners, as in normal people like us, but the globalist elite who in the 1800s were the Freemasons, in the 1900s were the bankers, and are now called big tech. That was a very interesting statement. That was a real meme quote kind of statement. I really like that one. Kind of showing the evolution of this Malthusian cult. Remember, guys, if I can slip the word in Malthusian anywhere, I'm going to. It's my favorite word. So the Malthusian cult and how it's gone through various different names and inclinations. Increments. I think I'm making up words. I'm very tired, but I want to talk about this while it's still fresh in my mind. So anyways, please forgive me. And remember, if you comment under the images that say 30 minutes of live stream, 15 minutes of live stream, I'll be getting to your questions super soon. One thing that was kind of interesting is they had at the Russophile conference, a Catholic priest came out. I could not see because at the time I had my glasses on and I was kind of looking at my notes. And so I started to look up and I really couldn't see without my glasses on what country he was from. He spoke English with an accent, but it wasn't like a stereotypical Italian accent, you know. Oh, it was something kind of else, but it could have been Italian, but it could have been a lot of things, you know. So anyways, that Catholic priest said flat out that the globalist the globalists regime changed the church in 2013. I have a strong feeling after saying that in Russia during this war, his career is probably over. But that is crazy. That is absolutely crazy to have an actual Catholic priest come out and say our church has been regime changed. That's nuts. Some people in the audience reacted to that. That was kind of mind blowing. That might be number one moment of this event here. And he also said that Russia must resist Agenda 2030. So there you go. Very interesting, very dramatic speech by this priest who unfortunately will have to go unnamed because I couldn't find out. The next was the speech by Pepe Escobar, and it was almost as if your buddy Tim gave it. I wrote his core idea was that Russia needs to be on the offensive in a soft power and culture war. Oh my goodness! You know what? With this, like Pepe is higher definitely on the chain than I am. A lot of people call me a journalist, and because I get sort of tired of arguing about the question of what is a journalist, I usually just kind of let them say it. But I'm a lot more of like an analyst. I usually sort of provide analytical sort of. Basically, what do analysts do? They look at something and they try to find the meaning in it. Philosophers also do that, but philosophers do it more in an ideological sense. I tend to do it more, or idea sense. I tend to do it more of a pragmatic sense. That's mostly what I'm doing in all of these articles that I've written, the countless hundreds of articles, countless hundreds of these videos and stuff. I think it turns out to be more analysis rather than some form of journalism. But whatever, I'm sick of arguing with people, so I just nod my head. But so anyways, I can't really compare myself to Pepe because he is a true journalist, but he's also probably one of the top 10 journalists on the planet. He is really high up there, you know. And so I was so happy, so thrilled to hear someone on the journalistic ladder, on the very top rung, the elite of the elite, saying exactly what I've been saying in Russia, in the media for over a decade. that Russia needs to be on the offensive in the soft power and culture war. Thank you, Pepe. Thank you. Because when it comes from your mouth, someone may actually listen. Because when it comes from me, people haven't been listening very much. Or maybe recently they started to. And he said that Russia needs to turn the geopolitical narrative upside down. And again, provide a counter narrative rather than the usual Russian strategy of like an old lady point and wag your finger and say, oh, that's bad. The Iraq war was bad. The Afghanistan war was bad. Libya was bad. Serbia was bad. Actually have something else to counter, the alphabet soup people and their woke worldview rather than just saying that's bad, that's bad, that's bad. I'd also like to share a little anecdote for anecdote. Antidote is something different. Anecdote with you guys that I thought I took as a personal compliment, so forgive my ego for exploding onto the scene here. But when I first met Pepe, I was like, hello, Mr. Escobar. I'm a big fan of yours. My name is You're Tim Kirby. I know exactly who you are. Whoa. So that was kind of cool. And Pepe said that he wants to do some kind of collaboration with me because over the last 2 days, especially yesterday, I spent literally 12 hours standing and small talking. I just could not get out of bed today. So I'm going to actually try to contact Pepe tomorrow because I think he has that level of respect and the name recognition that and the fact that we really see eye to eye on this particular issue. Who knows? Maybe we can do something together as a joint venture that will actually accomplish these goals of flipping the narrative and creating a new offensive of soft power in the culture war. So I like that because usually Pepe is a very sort of soft-spoken, calm but assured way of speaking. He was a little bit on fire during his speech, so maybe he's as annoyed as I am. We can be annoyed together. So yeah, the professor or philosopher whose name shall not be mentioned because YouTube algorithm hates it, but I mention it anyways because, guys, at this point I don't care. They already shut down my first channel. So Dugin's speech at the Russophile conference was that I wrote that, in short, he said that only love, to love oneself and nothing else, is essentially to be an animal, and that it's really when we begin to love others and show an appreciation of something that's other than us that we sort of rise to humanity, talking about being a Russophile, about people who are maybe non-Russians who can show some sort of love towards Russia. His was a lot more philosophical in that sense, which is not surprising. And then he felt that this movement was a real blessing. But the problem is the word for blessing in Russian is related to the word like to give, which is also related to the word dacha. So, when he says it's a real blessing, I think one way he kind of meant it's almost like something was donated to us, like an opportunity was donated to us. But the problem is the word donation in English isn't religious. So it's like, there's no translation for this. He picked a good word that doesn't translate well. So anyways, he sort of seemed optimistic, but at the same time, I think he knows that a lot of times we can have very nice things to be said that maybe don't get backed up with action. And I think that's a problem in Russia. We need to if we're going to do this, let's do this. And I did notice that the philosopher himself, the philosopher king of Russia, because I kind of know him, I could see that he was having a really good time at the after party because he got to meet all of these different people. And there were a lot of religious leaders from across the world there who have their sort of way of doing things. And I think there were like 2 nuns from Syria. And so I think he was really excited I could see he was so excited to talk to these nuns from this like different type of orthodoxy. And yeah, so he was really excited to meet this extremely mindset-wise diverse group of people. So he had a blast, I could tell by the look on his face there. And those are kind of the major speeches. I mean, some other people gave some fantastic speeches as well, especially the delegation from Mali, Senegal, and a few other African nations did a good job. But, guys, what can I say? I can't take notes all day. And like I just mentioned, I'm not really the journalist type. So this is a little bit of micro journalism here, but as you guys know, this is not my thing. My job is not to write down what great people say. My job is to say great things. But anyways, guys, I think we've gotten to the point in the episode where you can do the raise your hand function if you want to talk to me. Your questions or comments can be completely off topic. So off topic that it is ridiculous. So feel free to be completely off topic if you want to talk with me. If you don't, that's fine too. Usually there's a lot of comments under the videos, but I'm not seeing anything. This is very weird. We have a lot of comments on the channel as a whole, 250 since last time I checked. That's good, but I don't think we have any for the live stream. So 250 unrelated comments. Receiving one. Let's see. This is why I never. I think that's an ad. Someone's talking about how much money they got after investing $100. That seems like an ad, but thankfully, it is not one of those Dan Scavino ads, guys. Those were the worst. So, yeah. That seems to be it. Does anyone have anything to chit chat about? Nothing. Okay. Well, then all I can say, really, guys, is that with this event, it's kind of this part of this new thing that I've been talking about. This new wave of like optimism that I'm experiencing, and not that I'm experiencing, but that Russia's experiencing, especially within the government. And I got some good news coming, because there's been some articles written that looks like IT specialists are being allowed in Russia. It looks like a lot of these things that we just started really recently at the State Duma are going through. Unfortunately, guys, I know you probably want to hear more about this new thing with this IT jobs and IT specialists getting a sort of special quick route to Russia. But the thing is, guys, I had kind of a little bit of a rough day. Like I said, after yesterday, I was way more tired than after American football practice. Football, you're sort of butting heads and knocking each other around. I kind of come home a little bit pumped. Like I come home and I can't really sleep because I feel kind of good about life. And I feel like physically tired, but mentally very in the game. Now, with this, it was the opposite. It was a lot of small talking, a lot of the stuff you might call networking, a lot of carefully trying respectfully, like I mentioned how I met Pepe for the first time. One woman was just really, really would not leave him alone. And I am much like maybe I'm 1/5, or if I should say, maybe I'm like, what would it be then? 1/16 or 1/32 Japanese, and I don't know it because I very much have that whole Japanese kind of sort of dominant trait of I always feel like I'm annoying people and I don't want to annoy people. So I was just waiting for this woman to just get that moment when she'd be stopped and I could kind of move myself in and it wouldn't be rude, but she just kept going. And Pepe kept nodding his head, and she kept going, and he kept nodding, and she kept going, and he kept nodding. I think I had the time for about 2 drinks while I was waiting. Not to say that I drink fast. I've actually kind of, for the most part, given up alcohol. But anyways, yeah, so there was a lot of that kind of like moving and grooving and trying to meet people, trying to remember a lot of people's first names that I don't remember. And so, yeah, thankfully, though, like I said, there are a few other people like the legend, the man himself, the priest at the top of the chain of my heart. Father Joseph was there, which was awesome. A new friend of mine who I'm getting along with quite well, Joe Rose, who is doing a lot of really good blogging and interesting stuff. We filmed the video recently, as you guys may have seen. I just haven't had the time to sit down and edit it. I don't know when that's going to happen, but I'm going to have to do it soon. So Mr. Rose was there, so that was also good. And a few other people that you may recognize will go unnamed for now. But so anyways, I was definitely not alone. Anyways, Christopher wants to talk. Hello there. It's always good to hear from you. Hello, Christopher. What's going on?
Watching the news here in the U.S., apparently folks like Lindsey Graham are all butthurt because a U.S. propeller-driven drone got knocked out of the sky while operating near a military base in a war zone.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, dude, let me tell you about this, man. Boy, did I get a lot of messages about that. Chris, I'm going to also reveal something. I revealed it today. I'm going to mute you, not because you're a bad person. Trust me, you're one of my favorite people. But because echoes and stuff are bad. Yeah, I actually revealed this first. The video is probably already up with our friend Working Brother. He's our good buddy. So I did an interview with him where I revealed this, but now I'll talk about it with you, that I actually got a call then today to kind of talk about that and a bunch of other stuff from Piers Morgan's staff. And first off, remember, guys, when you get random messages from people who somehow have your phone number and you don't really know where they got it from, there's no fact that it was actually Piers Morgan's staff. It could have been some pranksters. The number was from England, but the person had a very, very, very thick, I guess what you'd consider an Indian accent. But again, sometimes when you hear people from Pakistan talk, it's kind of similar. I have not spent that much time with people from India and Pakistan enough to really grab that nuance of the way they speak between, forms of English, especially when India has a billion zillion languages of its own. But so anyways, so it could have been fake, but they said they were from Piers Morgan, and I told them, I was like, look, they started bombing me with questions, and the problem was all the questions were, well, half of them were just garbage. It was just like, is Russia winning the war? And you just go in your mind, and I'm like, I'm gonna say yes, it is. But then, well, what's the response to that going to be from someone like Piers Morgan? It's going to be, but you're a Putin stooge. You have no idea. The Wall Street Journal wrote, blah, blah, blah. So it kind of doesn't even matter. And like the thing is, they wanted to do like a live thing, just like me being here and them being there tonight. And I was just like, nah. Because the thing is, guys, I've done a lot of over the years hostile interviews, and they don't get you anywhere. They don't win you new followers or viewers. All they do is get you really, really harassing messages and stuff for like 2 weeks after you appear there. So I kind of just thought that it wasn't in my best interest. But what I did say is all the questions were mostly stupid, or they were the kind where it's like, it's really hard to prove. It's like, is Russia actually running out of ammo? Well, you're asking, like, okay, is Russia running out of ammo? It would seem not, but again, that's like some sort of internal information that I don't have access to. You know what I mean? So there's been really no reports of that happening in the Russian media. But then again, if I'm the bad guy, if I'm the Putin stooge, then they would assume I'm lying anyway. So it's like, why even ask the question? They asked only one question that was actually relevant, and I think it was about public opinion. Because public opinion is something where, although it can be a vague question, it's a little bit easier to talk to than about who's winning a war when you're not a military expert and you don't have Ramzan Kadyrov is not like sending me maps every day. Like, Tim, you've got to get this right, man. You got to get this right. You've got to have all your info, all your, I's dotted and T's crossed. He's not doing that. So, yeah, so I kind of passed on that. But what I did do is I told him, I planted the seed. I was like, look, how about this? Because I don't trust you guys, the BBC at all. And she was like, we're not actually at the BBC. And I was like, I kind of, you know what? Kind of doesn't matter. Kind of doesn't matter because the methodology is the same. How about you guys and Piers come out? You'll have cameras, off cameras. We'll have a good time. We'll talk to some average people. We'll talk to some high-ranking people. We'll have a blast in Moscow. I offered them twice. They passed. So they offered me the chance to go on an interview where they'd probably cut my audio and then pretend I'm some sort of fascistic monster. And I offered them the chance to visit Moscow when I certainly don't have the money to bring them here. So I think it works out in the end, my friends. I think it works out very well. Anyways, Christopher's coming back. Sorry, I cut you off with my story that I consider amazing. But then again, I live in my own head, Christopher. So,
don't worry. Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah, you never want to ever do a hostile interview unless you're the one doing the interviewing. They will chop at the bits to try to mine it for anything they can use.
Oh, yeah.
Not worth it.
Oh, yeah, Christopher, in the past, they at least had some journalistic integrity where they would chop it up, but they would at least kind of make it make sense. I wouldn't be surprised if, say, for example, I just go, no. I would not be surprised at all if in the future they would say something like, do you have any fondness for black people? Like literally just completely edit something in later and put it up online. I would not be surprised at all. I would not be surprised at all. So
just never do it unless you're in control of it.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna again mute you there, but again, not because you're a bad guy, but remember when they interviewed Piers Morgan? I believe he was at the BBC at this time when he interviewed Alex Jones. Oh man, he didn't even let him speak 2 words. Oh, he just, and with a lot of the hostile interviews, just everything you say, because they're just constantly just trying to jump on you, and they sort of, because unfortunately, guys, a lot of times to sort of explain why you think something, you have to put a lot of historical background into it, and you're like, look, okay, so why I believe this is because of this event, that event, and then the third event, fourth event, and they don't let you, and they just keep bombing you. And go back and watch that interview with Alex Jones. Does anyone think that anything at all was learned by someone who didn't know who Alex Jones was? Do you think they had any chance to maybe learn what he stands for or doesn't? Or even that maybe in some ways, they exposed this dark underbelly of Alex Jones? No, they just bickered at each other like 2 old women, It just wasn't very good. And Alex was a little bit overly polite, until he got angry. And the same thing with like Andrew Tate, just the constant cutting the guy off. Because I think part of that is it makes you angry, so they want you to kind of get angry to lose it. But again, okay, say I get angry and lose it over here. I'm not in the same studio as him. Although I bet Piers Morgan has like 50 million security guys, trust me, Andrew Tate's a pretty tough guy. If Andrew Tate would have hit him, maybe he would have had to fight 3 like security guys or something. But if Andrew Tate would have clocked him, he'd be done. It'd be a 1-punch knockout. You know what I mean? So when you're at least in the same studio and you're a big guy, because even Alex Jones, Alex Jones is not a 4-time kickboxing champion in whatever countries. He could still knock the crap out of that guy with with one single strike. So at least when you're sort of physically present, you can sort of counter their rudeness with a bit of sort of counter intimidation. But I don't know. It's it is not an option. MK's writing, I would not trust the BBC either. No, yes, but technically the woman corrected me that he is no longer with the BBC. In fact, let me just even check here so we can actually find out. Let's see. Piers Morgan, and let's see what he's up to. Okay. Hopefully Wikipedia will have accurate information about what he's doing now. His television career, Piers Morgan. So on December 16th, on the 16th of December 2021, News UK announced its new channel Talk TV would launch in 2022, with Morgan being the first name signed up. Morgan presented Piers Morgan Uncensored weeknights from April 25th, 2022. The first and second episodes contained a new interview with Donald Trump. Within a week of the first broadcast, estimated audiences had declined by 80%, from 316,000 to 61,000 average viewers. So that's kind of weird. Actually, to be honest, I think someone is trying to unfairly really paint a picture. They're like, well, he does have a new show and he was picked up first, but look at how crap that's a little propagandist there. I don't think that's quite a neutral tone. So does the show still exist? I guess it does. I don't know. So it says, let's see. In 2022, Fox and Friends, Fox Nation hosts 6 episodes. He was on Gutfeld for 2 episodes. He was on The 5, so he makes a lot of Fox News appearances for 7 episodes. And he says he's a presenter weekdays on Talk TV UK and on Sky News Australia and Fox Nation in America. So I guess that's what it was for. Maybe Fox Nation, but I don't know. Fox Nation's kind of more about like the culture happening within America. I don't know. Very, 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 very weird. He's been in movies, though. He was in World War Z. Oh, my gosh. Wow. He got eaten by monsters or something. So, I don't quite know what to say about that. But, so I guess it's not the BBC. But essentially, of the big mainstream media, I'd have to say I like Fox the best. But it doesn't mean I necessarily like them. You know what I mean? They definitely get the best of the worst award in a lot of ways. But at least sometimes they tell the truth, kind of, sort of, maybe on occasion. Anyways, let's see. So I forgot. I forgot about that because I told it to a working brother there about everything. So anyways, remember, guys, while we still have some time together to, if you have any comments, put them under the pictures that say, Telegram starts in 30 minutes or Telegram live stream starts in 15 minutes. About that. So, it's been weird. And when talking to Working Brother, he kind of pointed out that apparently all of a sudden I got really important because I'm now part of a committee in the State Duma, and I was invited to this event, and I guess, of the top Russophiles of the world. I'm one of them. And not only was it really cool, like I said, for my I had 2 ego boosts. When Pepe Escobar knew exactly who I was, which is crazy. I can't believe that. That was number 1. Number 2 was when the media mogul himself actually introduced me to some people. And I think it's the nicest intro. I've had some very nice introductions in my day, by the way. And that was like the nicest introduction I have ever had. So I much appreciated that. He introduced me to like a bunch of priests as if I almost felt like, in a way, I was being introduced to priests as the second coming. So very, very cool. Very, very nice. So a lot of priests were there. So it was kind of interesting, but they were from all over the world. So lots of accents. Oh, and I did get the chance to meet to talk with one Boer because I am one of the few people who probably had an Afrikaans roommate in college. So I really got the chance to hear about what the realities of South Africa are like from a Afrikaans speaking person for a lot of years. And things in South Africa only get worse. So I kind of was telling them, like, this might be the time, my Boer friend, to come on up to Russia. Because although Russia can be bureaucratic and frustrating at times, it is definitely going to be better for your health than living in South Africa. And unfortunately, according to him, all those stories you hear about South Africa, all of them, it's pretty much the reality of things. So that is very unfortunate. Except he said the Zulus, ironically, tend to side with the white people. He said that the Zulus have a deep respect for anyone who's sort of willing to fight, and people who work hard, and people who also provide food, which are generally the farmers in like Zimbabwe and South Africa tend to be the white people. So he said, ironically, the Zulus very often take the white guy's side, but not because they're some sort of Uncle Toms, but because they have more of a respect for the way that like the Boers act and what they do for society. So interesting. So it's a very much a mess. And oh my God, what's that guy's name? Oh my God. South Africa Malema? Oh my God, I'm an idiot. No. Soviet communist activist. Who is that guy? South African Malama. South African red part. Oh my God. Freedom fighters. What is this? Maybe it's economic freedom fighters. Is that who they are? Julius Malema. Yeah, Julius Malema. So according to him, Malema's hatred and crimes know no bounds. So very, very negative view of Malema. Very, very positive view of Zulus. So that's what I got. Kind of a good conversation there. So, as is the rule, if you talk to someone and their accent kind of isn't American, but it's also not British sounding, it's South African. That is the rule. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about, kind of. So anyways, let's see if there are any messages. Off topic, can anybody visit Russia right now, MK's asking. Yeah, dude, right now we're already in the off topic zone, MK. That's fine. You want to ask something, you ask it. Can anybody visit Russia right now? Absolutely. Americans. This is one thing that people are confused, because I was just explaining this to someone. Was it working, brother? I don't know. Well, first off, all of us do this. Men, we tend to naturally think that women are basically men like us, but they're pretty. And if you're part of, like, if you're Chinese, then you tend to see the whole world as a bunch of Chinese people who just look different. And this is natural. All human beings are like this. We sort of assume that everyone is like us. Okay. And so when Western people see that Russia has this like unfriendly nations list, they have to assume that there's going to be this like government crackdown on people, and that within Russia, they're going to try to destroy all foreign culture. And they're going to go on this sort of like, like how in the West, we always bring up that, the Russian cats are forbidden in participating in international cat shows, that Russia's going to in turn do something like this. And they're not. Like, Americans can get tourist visas right now. Chris, as an American, has visited Russia with a tourist visa. I can tell you that much. A certain special person in my life is listening, and that special person can talk right now. Hello. Hello there. Mom, are you listening? Are you speaking at me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, too loud. Yeah.
again, totally off topic, but did you hear that today the state of Ohio filed a lawsuit against Norfolk Southern Railroad regarding the train derailment? I don't know like what they're looking to get for it or anything, but I just thought that was interesting. We also heard recently from some locals that work for that railroad that they were given a wage increase of, I think it was 24% raise over 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So,
interesting. In order to what? To sort of buy loyalty or buy silence, or what's that about? What do you think?
No, I think that was to keep them working, because I think Biden had something to do with it. But in the meantime, apparently, I guess their infrastructure is just like going to hell, and I don't know. So I don't know the details of it, but I thought maybe you did. So.
Oh, well, I can tell you one thing, Mom. Hopefully you weren't driving on I-90, because at the intersection of 90 and 44, apparently a fuel truck tipped over. But the thing is, they sent the hazmat guys to clean it up. But the thing is, I didn't know that like fuel counted as hazmat. I guess it is a hazardous material because it can burn, and it's not exactly the best thing to drink. But like, I didn't really see it as that toxic. So that also makes me wonder, was it really fuel? You know what I mean? If they have to send guys out in like special suits to clean it up. I don't, I'll put it this way. Gasoline's gotten on probably every one of us has at some point in their life gotten like gasoline on our hand. It's not that toxic. It really isn't. In fact, they used to make certain medicines with gasoline and that didn't kill you. So you could still technically ingest gasoline in small amounts and not die, unlike many other things on this planet. So anyways, yeah, thank you, Mom. Well, let's talk about that a little bit. I'm going to mute you. Obviously, not because you're a bad person, because you're my mom, so you're a good person by default. But because background noises and echoes are horrible. So anyways, yeah, this thing, guys, if you guys also want to know about, again, my mission is this human bridge. This whole Norfolk Southern thing has been very much so noticed in Russia. Yeah, you'll see that there's definitely some sarcasm about it because, for years, Russians have been told, your country's awful. You can't do anything right. Everything's horrible. And then there's a bunch of disasters in America. So there is a little bit of kind of that, you think you're so great. There's a little bit of that online, and I can't deny that. But overall, most people are just kind of concerned. I mean, for all of you who know, like my tourism videos, and if you don't know them, you really should get to know them because we need subscribers. In fact, don't I have open? Oh, my goodness. I have open my thing there, the thing that I use to send people links to all the stuff that I do. This is amazing. I'm going to, so let me know right now. Why aren't more people subscribe to my new travel YouTube? And yes, this is a guilt trip to subscribe. So there we go. We are gonna do that. And why didn't it do like some kind of like nice preview? That's weird. Here, come on, preview it. That's okay, whatever. So I don't know why it didn't like put a really nice preview of the channel. That is weird. But anyways, guys, if you could subscribe to the channel there, it's the new YouTube channel. We had 20,000. Now we're down to like 500, which is frustrating. But subscribe again, especially because all of us use YouTube, even if we don't like it. Rumble's an option, but why not be subscribed to both? Why not help me out? It takes 5 seconds. But anyways, Russians were and very much are concerned with this. And I brought up my travel channel because one of our two producers, we have Misha and Yulia, that I often mention in the videos. Misha has more funny particularities, so I mentioned Misha more because I could poke fun at him. Yulia's more delightful, so she's kind of hard to make fun of. And if I do it too much, she'll fight back, and trust me, she can fight back quite well verbally. But anyways, Yulia is sort of just dumbfounded by this whole event. She's like, what is going on with this? There have been like 3 train derailments in the last month in America. So now Yulia and I almost have this like ongoing conversation where I'm just like copy pasting all these stories about things being destroyed, which looks very similar to like a few years ago but all these sort of food producing, food, I want to say refining. Is refining the right term? Where you take food from the ground and then you kind of make it into stuff like grain. Is that refining? I don't know. But food processing, but processing makes it sound like something else. I don't know. Food stuff place, whatever. A lot of those got burnt down about 2 years ago, especially during the big disease. So it looks like we're on a new trend of just disasters all over the place. The amount of derailed trains, not just in Ohio, seems quite abnormally high. So very, very interesting topic. But again, I can only speculate about this. I'm not quite sure myself, but something's going wrong. And speaking of crises in the United States, again, I'm not gloating because remember, friends, I try to have a bigger view about about things. I'm not petty. Like, for example, what if tomorrow I woke up and I don't know, let's just say Biden phased out to a new reality and Kamala Harris steps up to be president, and all of a sudden she defends the Constitution. She is super becomes the most staunch defender of the Bill of Rights there's ever been. And she makes the military way more effective. Very, virtually no wasted spending. All $850 billion goes to what it's supposed to. She's getting results. She's not creating wars. She kind of, reorganizes everything. She does everything that, we would think we'd want in America. She starts sort of reindustrializing America, and she does everything. Basically, she does everything that I want, proving me wrong, right? And making me look like an idiot for moving to Russia when America solved all its problems and America becomes prosperous yet again. I would love that scenario. I would love to look like a complete moron if America was saved, even by Kamala Harris, or maybe especially by her, because I have 0% faith in the fact that she could do that. But if she could and prove me wrong, that'd be amazing, because it would work out for like all my family members and all the people from high school and college that I have a positive opinion of, that'd be awesome. But, so I'm not America gloating here, but gloating over the sort of gradual demise of America, because trust me, it'd be much better if it wouldn't die out. But with this whole banking thing, oh boy. And again, this is one of those things, guys, where when I do these live streams, I kind of get afraid. Like, I don't want to turn into one of these like blowhard guys that thinks they know everything about everything. And I am not a banking genius, but I've been trying to listen to a bunch of podcasts, like while I'm cleaning up or cooking, about this SVB, this Silicon Valley bank disaster, what's happening, why it's had such massive ramifications across the whole spectrum. It is a big deal. It is a big deal. A lot of major banks have lost 40, 50, 60, 70% of their stock value within a day. And the thing is, I don't know how fast that value is going to come back, and I don't know what's going to happen next. Again, it's sort of the thing where the word on the street from the people who talk about economics, who are not on the big TV channels, basically said that the Fed has sort of put us in a tough position of being like, we can either have crazy inflation at this point in American history, or we can really have high interest rates, which cause collapses like this. And that makes me think, well, it's either really bad this way, or it's really, really bad this way. And so, guys, I think we're in a lot of trouble coming up for the future of America. But again, why do I bring this up on Tim Kirby Russia? That would be Tim Kirby America. Okay, this is Tim Kirby Russia. Because, guys, all this really, really started. Obviously, U.S. national debt started a long time ago. But a lot of this crazy economic downturn all started after the first shots of the special military operation were fired. Ever since Putin sent his boys in, that's when the San Francisco big tech crunch has been on. 10,000 people from Facebook, 10,000 people from Google. Please forgive me if I'm exaggerating these numbers, but I know they're in the thousands. Big tech layoffs, and also the question is, how big is like Silicon Valley? I mean, it's pretty big. But when you're talking about 10,000 here, 10,000 here, 5,000 here, 5,000 there, that's a really big chunk of Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley is kind of in a death spiral, which is crazy. And that's one of the big pillars that, the United States actually stands on. We have this banking disaster, which they're saying, again, they being our good friends. Was it Wolf, the economic guy, Wolf? I was listening to him. Paul Wolf? I don't remember. But anyways, He was saying it's the second biggest bank collapse in U.S. history. That's not good. That's really not good. But that also seems to be in connection with this. And remember, weird stuff too. Like I always bring this up because I don't understand it, and so I find it fascinating. Of course, we always find things we don't understand to be more fascinating. Is remember too how when the war started, Netflix took a huge dive. And yeah, Netflix was like kind of popular in Russia, but it wasn't that popular. It wasn't like, the executives at Netflix were thinking, okay, well, we've got America here. All right. We've got America in first place, China in third place. Oh my God, Russia's the second place. Russia's they're our big audience. We've got to protect the Russian market. I think the Russian market at most could have been maybe 1 million people, but I don't even think that. I think it might have been like a few 100,000 people are paying customers here. But something about the war and changed everything. My only sort of hypothesis could be that, remember, a lot of investing in value is based on emotions and confidence, which is stupid. So we really invest, what is the value of stocks? It's what we feel. Oh, boy. It's all about investor confidence. We're living in a feeling-based system. The feminists have won. But so with that, when investor confidence is probably really dropped because now it's like everything that had like this global audience now doesn't. And I think a lot of the people near to the top echelons kind of see that we're sort of in this game of chicken where it's like now the United States really wants to turn on the mechanisms of soft power war against the Chinese. But guess what? Okay, so they turn off China from the world system. They turned off Russia. Okay, so then China leaves. And China's way bigger than Russia economically. And then who's next? And then who? And then all of a sudden, their ability to threaten people with not being able to use dollars or be connected to the big tech universe of, with Facebook's metaverse. You will not be able to have a metaverse character anymore, Chinese people. Oh, my gosh. Eventually, then at every time they do actually enact that threat, they lose one person to be threatened, and so their network gets smaller and smaller, if I'm explaining this well. So I think that maybe certain rich people understand that, like, the size of the market that they have available from the West is getting smaller and smaller. And in a lot of ways, I've been told that sort of the system we have here is sort of based on this idea of eternal growth. Like, we always have to have growth. This would be like Sergei Glaziev would say that with one of the problems of our current way of doing is this idea that we have to have endless growth. Everything is always growing. Everything is always more. Well, guess what? Not only is the world finite, but the world just got smaller by one Russia and one Belarus, and possibly soon to be China. So, again, you're talking to someone who looks at this more, looks at economics more like some sort of logic game between the opinions of people who really know what they're talking about, rather than being someone who really does know that much about economics. But I think I might be onto something here. And so in a lot of ways, Russia sort of is the key to this, or I should say not Russia, the war and the ramifications of the war. So anyway, someone actually liked the post about subscribing to my channel. Do it. Subscribe. So, yes, done and shared. Thank you. Oh, my goodness. Thank you. Especially the group Mexico or Bust. If you want to move to Mexico rather than Russia, these guys, Mexico or Bust, are trying to help you all out with that. But anyways, let's see if I can go back here. Does anyone want to have a chit-chat, or are we going to call it for tonight? And I think we might just call it, and I'll upload this one. But anyways, guys, yeah, it looks like we're at the end of the road for tonight. So anyways, guys, it was really good talking to you. It's been a crazy week. Being invited to such a high-level event that was supported fully, like by the government, and being having there's also, remember, after I bought that apartment, man, have I been broke. And then I had to go out and buy a new suit. So I went to the Brutal Men's Store. It's written in English, the Brutal Men's Store. And basically they had only about 5 or 6 suits in my size, and only one of them fit. So I have a sort of blue suit, kind of medium dark blue. The problem is it is really not my color, But so anyways, that hurt. Things are really hurting financially for me right now, but it was worth it to get the suit and the luxury silk tie, and to I really feel like I'm kind of making some progress in life. Maybe not so much financially, but I think I'm putting together the right network, getting my face seen at the right events, that I feel more established, and I feel pretty good. So hopefully I will be able to do more good things. And like I said, we're already even achieving some decent results with trying to help foreigners immigrate to Russia. I cannot wait. I cannot wait until the site that we're putting up, that's going to be sort of like this, conveyor belt pipeline to help people with their issues, gets put up. Not only because I'm sick of answering messages talking about it. You know what I mean? I want these messages to be sent to people who are more loving and patient than I am. And it'll be able to really help out a ton of you guys. So we're getting close here. We're getting close. My career is going up. This idea of getting people to immigrate to Russia, it's becoming a thing. We're getting some traction here. I feel very, very good about where we're headed in the near future. But anyways, guys, one thing is, so some of you have already subscribed to the YouTube channel. Again, thanks. The travel channel, again, even if you've already watched the videos on Rumble 7 times, just subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's so easy. Wait, there are messages. Where? What? Well, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. There were messages and I didn't see them. Hold on. So let's see. My Canadian husband enjoys watching your videos, says MK. Well, thank you very much. Always appreciated. Share them around. I was born in the United States. They're kind of talking amongst themselves. I made you a round icon logo because I noticed it is cut off on YouTube. Oh, thank you, Sammy. I guess I'll put that over there. I'll try to maybe get to that a little bit later. Not. Thank you. I'll try to leave that up in my browser and get to you that. Victoria, hi Tim. What is the best to send you a donation? Victoria, as of now, the problem is that really it is crypto. Because the donate button caused a lot of problems. I was able to get all the money you guys sent, so thank you for people who use the donate button. You have the option. How can I find it? Where are my? Yeah, I don't have my Boosty written there. Okay, well, anyways, we're gonna provide. We're gonna go in, and where did she? Victoria. So Victoria, we have that. If Boosty works, then. And I'll put a link to my Boosty, because Boosty sometimes works and sometimes it doesn't. One of the problems, guys, is I think some of you guys actually were nice enough to, like, long-term subscribe to Boosty to send me, like, $5 every month. But I think your banks may have booted you off. So if you did dedicate spending me $5 a month for this kind of content that you enjoy, then please check to see if you're actually still on Boosty. Because it may have given you your bank may have given you the boot, because Boosty, I think, is located in like Hong Kong or something. And there are a lot of scammers in Hong Kong, supposedly. So anyways, I sent that to her. I will put this up on the main channel. Oh my gosh. So that way you can send money to my crypto. Some person told me that your generic crypto wallet is not the best way to send stuff. So anyways, if you want to send a particularly noticeable amount of money, not like $5 in crypto, but you really feel like you believe in this thing that I'm doing here, which apparently a lot of people, oh my gosh. I met people from the Russian embassy in Washington. We love Tim Kirby Russia. They walked up to me, love Tim Kirby Russia. Absolutely love all of it. I was like, well, Harley, do you mean like the travel stuff I do or the political? Political. I didn't even know you did travel stuff. So apparently the Tim Kirby Russia universe is very popular with the Washington embassy staff. So, and a few other people. So guys, some big wigs actually do watch this content. So even though we have 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 views per video, depending on the place, I think they're a golden 10,000 views. But anyways, that's how you do it. That's how you send me money. And thank you to everyone who sent me crypto, because it works. And again, thanks to Jerry for teaching me how to do it. Chris has given me some advice about this over time, so thanks to Chris for the advice. Yeah, if you want to help out, crypto is appreciated. If you want to, for some reason, and hey, God bless you. If you want to send a more larger sum of money, I was told that you really should have a specific crypto wallet related to the specific cryptocurrency. So if that's the case, we could work that out. But again, if it's $5, just send it to the generic crypto wallet. And so far, so good. Christopher writes, Netflix is dying due to excessive woke. Yes, but it started its massive spike downwards right after the war started. So the woke stuff, it definitely contributes to it. I mean, if you create an entertainment platform and it doesn't provide entertainment, well, it's going to fail, regardless of any wars related to Russia. But that first drop really happened after all the Russian users were blocked, so it's connected. But yeah, obviously, I've apparently that they made something for like the Lord of the Rings, like a new Lord of the Rings something, and apparently it was really expensive and really terrible, and no one likes it. So, when you spend, I forget how much money they said. I want to say $1 billion on it, but that might be crazy. Well, they spent a phenomenal amount of money on something that's essentially a TV series, and apparently it really didn't pay off because it was terrible. So. Can I send CAD? CAD is what? Canadian dollars? I think you can send me, you mean like a cryptocurrency of Canadian dollars. Boosty should accept it. Boosty should. But again, any sort of crypto can be sent from what I understand. Again, you're not talking, I'm not Mr. Crypto. I don't although I have voiced some lovely videos about the world of crypto from my friend Miguel, who makes some very interesting crypto documentaries. Nice guy, makes good crypto documentaries. But besides being the voice, I don't really know that much about what's going on. So, yeah. Chris says, it was awful, this new Lord of the Rings series. I watched 3 episodes and dropped it. Yeah, also, as someone who is a big fan of Star Trek The Next Generation, apparently that Picard show, which I don't know if no, that's not Netflix, but it's on one of those streaming services. Apparently that is brutally terrible as well. Which is a shame, because the Picard character was really good. Picard, the stoic, aloof diplomat. The man whose emotions you can't touch, but he has the heart of gold. The great French sea captain, unfortunately, has become a weird, emotional, theatrical actor, which he's become the person that Patrick Stewart is. So, unfortunately, they killed that character. But, I mean, that's not the end of the world. Hey, the Dune movie was good. That was a good movie. I liked Dune overall. The guy who did Duncan, Idaho he's a little off, but that's okay. I think that was the guy who was Aquaman, but he wasn't off that bad. And it was fine. It was pretty good. In fact, it was more than fine. It was pretty good. Dune has been proven to be a hard thing to adapt, and I think they actually did it. It was good. I'm a huge Dune fan. Huge. But also, I have to appreciate that like the author's intent of Dune supposedly was to create this warning that we shouldn't give in to charismatic leaders. But the ultimate resolution of everything that happens in Dune is all interlinked with the will of one man. So essentially it becomes an advertisement to have a charismatic dictator. So anyways, terrible failure in terms of trying to express that idea. In fact, I actually have a few sci-fi universes in my head, but guys, I work too much with the kids and all that. I've never really had the chance to write these sci-fi books that I wanted to. So, but also one thing I've noticed is I've getting a lot of interviews recently, and when you tell people, they're like, "So what do you do?" Well, I kind of do a travel TV show, but I also do political analysis and write about geopolitics. And I'm an American football player who's also like the second in command. That's the commissioner of the league. And I work in the State Duma on a committee related to immigration. They kind of go, yeah, is usually the reaction of that, right? So one of the problems is I've always kind of wanted to be a little greedy and be like, guys, I want to write a book about science fiction that's kind of Russia-like. Could you support me? I think that would just be too confusing. I think that would just confuse everyone. So I've been I've kind of held back on that one. But yeah, if I ever kind of get a little bit more freedom and a little bit more money, oh my gosh, we're going to have so much sci-fi. I've already written one book. I might as well write another one, but that book wasn't sci-fi. So Christopher Barrett says the third season of Picard is actually good. New producer. Huh. No kidding. Well, third time's the charm. So Zaki, I want to say Kaisaria, but then again, sorry, Zaki. I thought Kim Iverson had a good take on the collapse of Silicon Valley. It's about crypto and the CBDC. Well, hey, Zaki, if you could maybe share that, that would be great. Because like I said, I need new reaction videos, guys. We have a new format. It's reaction video time, baby. So, yeah, I need more stuff to react to. So why don't you share that? Yeah, so that's good. But yeah, also again with the Silicon Valley Bank, yeah, another factor that I forgot to mention is that, they gave a lot of loans that were sort of dangerous to not just crypto, but a lot of startups. And like, here's the thing, guys. This is not my opinion. This is a fact. This is a statistical fact that the overwhelming majority of startup companies fail. So this is one of these weird things is you're like, okay, I own a bank. I don't want my bank to fail. Who do I give a loan to? Should I give loans, especially large loans, business-size loans, to this is it really an industry? Let's just call it an industry. To this industry where the overwhelming majority of businesses fail. That sounds like a terrible idea. And yet they did. So apparently, for certain people, at least in the bank, it wasn't that terrible of an idea. So that could be a corruption thing or a short-sighted thing. Some people have been saying that bank had a lot of wokeism in its hiring process. So when you go woke and you hire woke, then you just sort of hire people because of their racial or sexual preferences or whatever, and not based on talent. So perhaps they hired some people who were very diverse yet very stupid and just approved everything. But again, it just seems like a crazy idea for there to be any bank in any country that specifically works with startups. Maybe if it was like some sort of like government fund sort of thing, I could see, because, hey, sometimes that's, I think, what the government's for. They collect a lot of taxes, and hey, sometimes it might be worth it to risk a few $1 million in taxes on some sort of project that may fail. And, look at like anything to do with like arms development. A lot of experiments going on. Sometimes experiments succeed, sometimes they fail. But if you're running a bank that's supposed to produce profit, should you really be like, financing the development of a new, say, type of, aircraft with zero guarantees that they'll actually, I'll say a new gun. But we have the best assault rifle. It's so light. It's so, they put it to trials. It doesn't pass the trials. And then that's the end of that company. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Justin Schultz said, I didn't know about subscribe now. Well, it's okay, Justin. It's my fault. Guys who are here, you're here because I think I provide an interesting view on Russia, an interesting political views, an interesting analysis. I am not the SMM overlord, guys. I don't think I do a very good job of advertising what I do or explaining what I do. That is not my strength. Other people do that much better than I do. So anyways, it looks like we are out of comments. We are out of people who want to raise their hand, and I am exhausted. So we're going to finally actually hit the road here. Anyways, guys, you have a fantastic day. Absolutely fantastic.